Hi, my name is Brooke Hagerty. Welcome to today's episode of For the Love of Food. The holidays are over. The family's gone. The tree's put away. The presents have all been played with. And we might have put on a couple of extra pounds. So that comes time for resolutions. A lot of resolutions people have are to get themselves back into shape, to eat better, to exercise more. I'm here today to talk to you about eating better without depriving yourself from the things that you love. The pasta, the cheese. You can do it. You just need to do it with a little bit of moderation. And how we're going to do it today is we're going to be adding to our tortellini, we're going to be adding some broccoli and red peppers. And we're going to be using a lot of broccoli and red peppers that are going to go along with our cheese tortellini. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a cheese tortellini bake. It's going to have Italian sausage, which I already have some on the stove. It's going to have, again, the broccoli, the red peppers, of course, the tortellini, some Parmesan cheese, and a nice bechamel sauce. But how we're going to lighten this up a little bit is we're not going to use a ton of Italian sausage. We're just going to use a little bit of Italian sausage. We're not going to have as much pasta in there. We're really going to go heavy on our vegetables today. I'm actually using a frozen broccoli florette because this is also going to be a time saver for you. And I've got some canned roasted red peppers that I have. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to put, I've got 4 cups of heavy cream here. I'm going to get this on my stovetop. You don't have to use heavy cream if you don't want to, but I'm not going to deprive myself of the heavy cream that I love so much. So I'm going to use my heavy cream. I'm also going to use real Parmesan cheese. We've talked a lot about that before. Getting a nice hard Parmesan cheese, grating it yourself. I've had this in my refrigerator for about 3 months. When properly sealed, it's going to last you for a long time. I've got my grater. We're going to grate that right down. But first, before we get that going, let's go ahead and look at our Italian sausage. I've gotten some mild Italian sausage in casing here, and I've just broken it up. It's on my stovetop now. We're going to continue to brown that, and we'll get some more. And this is 3 pieces of mild Italian sausage. I did take it out of the casing. It's very easy to take it out of the casing. You just want to slice it down, and then you pull it off like that. Very, very simple. Let me put this away. Okay, so I've got my fresh cutting board. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grate my Parmesan cheese while my Italian sausage is cooking and my heavy cream is coming up to a little bit of a low rolling boil. Just going to grate some cheese down in here. It doesn't matter how big you grate it because it's going to go right into that heavy cream. And it's going to melt in there. It's going to be nice and luscious. A little bit of cheese here. Again, you can see how pretty this is. I mean, look how nice and rich. It's got a beautiful nutty flavor. Wonderful. My Italian sausage. We're just going to let this brown. It's going to get nice and crusty. The Italian sausage itself has a lot of flavor in it, so we're not going to need to add a lot of extra seasoning to our heavy cream as it's coming up. I'm going to put in a little bit of garden herb seasoning, a dry garden herb seasoning. I'm going to put in a little bit of my favorite lemon pepper, a tad bit of truffle salt, and some garlic powder. I'm just using garlic powder in this today. And we're just going to whisk this in here. Turn my sausage down. I'm going to mix my heavy cream up. That's going to come up to a boil. Now, I'm going to be using, in my sauce today, I've got some fresh thyme around. I love using fresh herbs. I tend to, I have an herb garden that I use 3 months out of the year when I can. And if not, I'm always getting fresh herbs at the grocery store, or luckily I'm lucky enough to have a restaurant that I can order big amounts of herbs in. So I'm just going to throw some fresh thyme in here too. I like working with fresh thyme because fresh thyme is so soft that if you don't get everything off the stem, don't worry about it because that stem is going to cook down to nice and soft and you're not really going to notice it. Dried thyme is one of my favorite herbs to use though too, I have to tell you. I'm a big, I've known at the restaurant for putting it in my hand, crushing it up. When you're using dried herbs, I always suggest that you rub them in your hands to release the oils. And then I'm always rubbing, and then I rub a little bit on my wrist too. I just love the smell of fresh herbs and dried herbs. I just love the smell of herbs. Okay, so let me put a lid on here. And we are continuing to brown our sausage, breaking it up a little bit here. You don't want to break it up too much because you do want to have some nice bite-sized pieces in there when our pasta is finished baking. Okay, so as I'm over here with my Italian sausage, again, just breaking that up, letting that cook down a little bit. I've got a little bit of a soft rolling boil coming over here. So we've got a nice soft rolling boil. We're going to go ahead and add some Parmesan cheese, our fresh grated Parmesan cheese. Oh, put that in there. And we're going to whisk that around a little bit. Let that do its thing. Put the lid back on it. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. Now my Italian sausage, I don't necessarily want all of the fat from the Italian sausage. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that off and we are going to drain it and press it. So get some of that grease off from there before we add it to our pasta and our sauce. And you can see this is beautiful. It's nice and crispy. Wonderful. And again, you see we're not using too much. As I said, we're going to serve, this is going to serve 4 to 6 people. And it's going to, and I only use 3 pieces of Italian sausage. So that's really, really nice. The star of the show, while we're calling it the tortellini bake, the star of the show is actually going to be these red peppers and this frozen broccoli, believe it or not. So one great thing about frozen vegetables that, they sort of get a bad rap, but frozen vegetables a lot of times can have more nutrients than the fresh vegetables that you get, because as soon as these are picked, they are flash frozen, which means all those nutrients are right in there. So if you can't get fresh from your farmers markets during market season, I highly suggest using frozen vegetables in the off season, or if you're in a pinch and you need something really, really quickly. It doesn't hurt to save yourself a little bit of time. So look at this, look at our Italian sausage here. Look at all that extra grease we got off from there. I'm just going to take my hands and I'm going to break these up a little bit more. Oh yeah. They're a little warm, but we just want to break it up because you want to make sure you have little bite-sized pieces in with your pasta that's going to bake after we put everything together. This is going to be so easy. You're going to be amazed at it. So I'm going to put this right here in front. I'm going to grab a red pepper. Look at that beautiful red pepper. Grab a knife. Whoops. Grab a knife here. I'm just going to cut my red pepper up. Let's get my cheese grater out of the way. I love a canned roasted red pepper. It just makes life so much easier with a lot of your cooking. It's got a lot of flavor. It's so vibrant. Nice and sweet. You're going to have that nice little, it's going to give you a little bit of extra moisture that we want in there. Very, very nice. Okay, so we're near boiling over here. Disaster averted. Disaster averted on the For Love of Food television set. So look at this. This is beautiful. This has got a nice, rich thickness to it. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add our broccoli florets in here. Put our broccoli in there. So it's going to start cooking down a little bit in there. Let's just put it all in there. So we've got our broccoli in there. Let's get that down. We're going to add another color. We're going to add our beautiful roasted red peppers. Oh, yes. Gorgeous red peppers there. We're going to give that another stir. This is beautiful, and it smells so nice. You can really, really smell the nuttiness coming off from that Parmesan cheese. Okay, last but certainly not least, we're going to add to our mix, we're going to add our Italian sausage. Again, I used a sweet and mild Italian sausage in here. Let's let these get all happy for a minute or two. While they get happy, I'm going to talk to you about the tortellini. I've already pre-cooked my tortellini. This was a frozen cheese tortellini that I got. You can use this two ways. You can either pre-cook it, which is just add it to boiling water. What I did is I did boiling vegetable stock. I put my frozen tortellini in, cooked it for 3 minutes, strained it off, put it into a dish that I sprayed. I did spray with a little bit of cooking spray. Or, because it is a pre-cooked pasta, you can just put it right in here frozen. I wanted to get a little bit, have some heat going with it before, rather than just having my hot go straight onto the cold. This is very, very simple. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful tortellini product. Love it. If you don't have the time to make your own pasta, then definitely, by all means, I highly suggest a frozen tortellini product. Fantastic. Available at your grocery stores. If you've got an Italian grocery near you, they're going to have a fresh one. You could look for in future episodes of For the Love of Food, we're actually going to experiment with making our own pastas over January, February, March, somewhere in that timeline. So let's go ahead and see what we have over here. Okay, we've got a nice little, oh, that looks so pretty. It's nice and colorful. Don't worry that it's not too thick, because we're going to add a little bit more cheese to it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this off from the stovetop. And I'm going to ladle it right over top of my pasta here. So you see, we've got the pasta, but we've got all these vegetables. We've got a little bit of Italian sausage. So we're not killing ourselves with, too many calories here. Everything in moderation. Now, this is also a meal that I would suggest for you that you'd had this meal at lunch rather than dinner, because that way you can burn off these extra calories. Let me go ahead and get another big spoon here. We want to mix this up in here. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. You could also do this in a long lasagna pan if you like. Let me get these soldiers back in here. Do this in a long lasagna pan would be fantastic as well. I think we've got enough there in our pot. Let me clean that up a little bit. Clean up my area here. Wonderful. So you see all these gorgeous colors. We're going to go ahead and we are going to add a little bit more Parmesan cheese to that. Right on the top. That fresh grated cheese. If you don't have fresh grated cheese, it's not something that you have to have. It's just a nice little, for me, it's a nice little treat. This is one of my little treats in life. This and shoes. Oh, and bags. Don't tell my husband. Another little treat I have is actually going to the gym. I love going to the gym. I go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. Started doing that about 8 weeks ago in my preparation for the holidays. And it really seemed to have helped me. So the holidays were not as bad to me as I thought that they were going to be. So I'm going to put a little bit more fresh thyme on here. And if whatever you have, I've actually got some rosemary here if I wanted to add a little bit of rosemary to it. I could do that. Just a little pop of color, a little extra flavor. Then we'll add a little bit more as a garnish at the end. Okay, so here we go. I have my oven set, my broiler set at 425 degrees on the broiler mode. I'm going to go right in here because remember, everything is cooked in here. We're just going to bring it up to a little bit hotter temperature and brown it a little bit on the top. So here we go. In the oven we go. We're going to set our timer for 10 minutes there. And we're going to make a salad because you can't have pasta without a salad as far as I'm concerned. And we're trying to make things a little bit better and healthier for us. So let me grab my cutting board again. We're going to make a nice arugula salad. We're going to use our Parmesan cheese again. We're also going to use a beautiful crisp red apple. So we're going to get a nice bite out of that. Instead of adding the crouton to it, this will be our bite. And I've got some beautiful grape tomatoes here. So very, very simple salad, very easy to do. And we're just going to, we're going to have fun with it. This is some gorgeous fresh arugula I have. This is actually organic arugula. I got it from one of my local farmers who has a greenhouse and grows year-round. So I'm very, very fortunate to have that. This is a beautiful, again, organic arugula. Very, very happy to have that in my life today. And I've got this beautiful red apple. You can use any kind of apple you want because we're not cooking it. We're just going to use this. Again, we're going to use this as our crunch for our wonderful salad. Wonderful. Oh, so pretty. I love the red and the green combination. Then we're going to add a little bit of some grape tomatoes. We're just going to slice those down because you have to have a tomato in your salad. And it's nice, the sweetness of the tomato is going to be a nice contrast with the arugula, which has got that nice, it's got that little bit of a pepperiness to it. And this arugula especially because it is organic and it's homegrown, well, farm, local farm grown. It's not, it sort of runs the gamut through the greenhouse. It's a nice big stem. So if you like stems, if you like woody, I like this as a woody, peppery arugula. Fantastic. Okay. Let's get a couple more tomatoes in here. And I'm thinking we'll probably put a little bit more cheese in there as well. Because, you really can't have too much cheese. And if it's these nice big pieces, you can see them. Oh, very, very nice. Toss this all in here. This is a beautiful salad that's getting away from me. But look at that. The tomatoes are making a nice little sauce for, I shouldn't say sauce, a nice little dressing because they're very, very moist. But we are going to put a little bit of red wine vinegar on here. Just a little bit of red wine vinegar. I'm going to put my finger right over. A little tiny bit of red wine vinegar. Save calories. If you're looking to save calories, seriously. You don't need salad dressings. Salad dressings have so much sugar in them. So bad for you to buy a store-bought salad dressing. Make your own salad dressings or just use a little vinegar, a little lemon pepper. Put a little truffle salt on there. Very, very nice. We were talking earlier about the fresh herbs. If you don't have fresh herbs, everybody has Italian seasoning in their cabinet. Little Italian seasoning in there. Very, very nice. Get my hands in there. Use that. I'm not even putting any oil on here. If you want to put a little bit of oil in there, you can, but it's not really necessary. This is just gorgeous. And again, somebody better invent smell-o-vision out there because this is, it smells so fresh and wonderful. And it's fantastic for a winter salad. The arugula, well, of course, arugula to me is fantastic any time of the year, but it's really get that deep peppery flavor to it. It really, breathes, it can breathe well with the winter months. Okay, so let me take a look at what we've got down here. We've been in here for about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna crank that broiler up to 550 degrees. And we're gonna start that. Okay, so we'll let that go. In the meantime, let me get my area cleaned up here, and when I come back, we're gonna put all this together and make a great, great, great January dinner for you. Okay, so everything has been in here for about 8 minutes. I did jack the temperature up to 550 degrees, but it didn't take long when I was finished with that. Boy, howdy, does this look amazing. I just did a little sneak peek, and I think you're gonna be really happy too. Oh my, look at this. Fantastic. Woo! I am so happy. Oh my gosh, that sauce down in there. We've got beautiful tortellini. We've got pasta, our tortellini pasta. We've got our broccoli. We've got our peppers. Oh my, look at that. Absolutely delicious looking. And, look at we got a lot of broccoli. We got a lot of vegetable action going on in there, so it's not too much. Then we've got our amazing salad that we just made. Absolutely fantastic. Arugula, apples, tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, a little red wine vinegar, a little salt, a little pepper. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and put this on our plate. Oh. Now tell me that this does not look completely appetizing, but it's also going to not deny yourself all the good flavors that you love so very much. I'm going to dig right in. My name is Brooke Hagerty. I'm the Food Chick. Welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Brooke Hagerty. I'm the Food Chick. Thank you for joining me today on today's episode of For the Love of Food with baked tortellini and arugula salad. Fantastic.